Go. Perfection. Rocking over here. Excellent. Let's do this. Where are we at? Come on. Come on, everybody. Let's see. That one's working. Okay. Let's get it going. You guys start checking in. Let me know where you're watching from out there in the night. And we're going to have a good time. Why is this thing being so weird? Why you got to be so weird, guy? So, let me know where you're watching from out there in the night. We're going to have a great time tonight. Let's click go live over here. Go live over there. Perfect. Now everything's working, guys. All right. So, let me hit you with the old intro. And then we're going to get all these little comments popped out over here in the day. Okay. So, start checking in. Let me know where you're watching from. And this will be one of the very last live shows in the Eugene studio before I pack everything up and move it up to Sheila. It's going to be fun. So, I mean, it's not going to be fun. Moving is never fun. But once we're finally all situated up there, then it will be fun, right? And you guys will never even know the difference. You will not even know. We're checking in from Bikini Bottom. I like that. I like that. You'll never even know the difference because it'll look exactly the same behind the camera like it always does and it always has every time I've ever moved. It's always looked exactly the same. So let's get right into the show, everybody. Welcome in. Hey, hey, checking it out over here. We got TMH in the house. Watching from Portland, Oregon. We're down here in Eugene, but like I said, we're moving up to Sela in, what, 3-4 days? What's today? What is today? The 21st, right? So Sunday, we got one today, tomorrow, and then we're packing, and then we're moving on Thursday. So it's going to be really cool. Now, we've got our black gessoed area of our canvas, which looks like these trees, right? You can do this with the acrylic black gesso and a little acrylic fan brush. Smush it up there exactly like we do our other trees, right? Exactly the same way we do these big trees, and then let it dry completely. You do not want this black to be wet. The way we're going to make it wet is with our BobRoss liquid clear. You can also use linseed oil, but if you do, and when you're using the clear, use a very small amount. You do not want to have it be really sticky, and that's exactly what happens when you put it on the canvas. It becomes very sticky until you spread it out very, very, very thin, in which case it will become more and more and more slick. You need it to be slick so that all of the thick oil paints that we're going to use will slide across the canvas. We don't even really need to go up into the trees. Maybe just this bottom section. That's pretty much it, right? We're going to take our liquid white and let it roll down over the rest of that stuff. And that's the cool trick. You can have a really neat looking foggy background by doing your black and letting it dry, right? And that's just a black gesso. That's an acrylic base paint, right? Versus the acrylic regular black, a little bit different, right? Then we're going to take this very small amount of our BobRoss liquid white, which is just the sister product of the liquid clear. It makes the white portion of the canvas white, right? Now you'll see as we start dropping this stuff on, it's going to try to cover up my old trees out there, especially if we try to put on too much, right? So in which case we're going to spread it out. And of course, like, I think it's literally fate that we're moving and the easel is just, it's about to give up the ghost. You know what I mean? Like, I have been waiting and waiting and waiting for this thing to break. Probably 1,000 paintings we've painted on this exact easel, right? It just will no longer, there's no place in the wood to screw down and hold it tightly. There we go. I might have found one last spot down there, okay? So like I said, once we spread out this liquid white, you'll start to see that the background becomes very distant, right? Very faded, very foggy, misty looking, right? That is what's making them look far away when we do these background scenes like that. You hear the easel shaking all over the place. Okay, I didn't want to have to do this during the show, okay? But we're going to move it down just a little touch. See if we can find a new screw hole. God, this whole thing's going to go just falling. And of course, now it has wet paint all over it, right? So, told you, everything was going to fall. But if we can loosen this guy and loosen this guy just enough, come on, slide down just a little bit. There. Smallest little area down. Okay? And then, see if we can find a... Nope, nothing there. Hey, there we go. Some fresh wood we can use. Okay. Throw this thing back up here just real quick like, because everything is falling all over the place in the studio. Really professional show, Josh. Really good job on this one. You did a great job, bud. You should be proud of this live. Oh my goodness. Hang on. There. Get that thing back up there. Tighten it down. Boom. We're all set. Okay. So now we've got our liquid white across our canvas. I always say, you know, finish the edges. So put a little bit around the edges because we're probably going to pop some of our blue or whatever color we use in our sky. And that's going to look funky if your edges are white and everything else is got color on it, right? So you guys check in one more time. Let me know where you're watching from out there in the day. Now that we're actually ready to start a painting, check in and let me see where you guys are watching from. I'm gonna look at all the comments. Let's see, you're so close to me. I know, and we're moving further away, but, right, we are going to be doing classes at the Lane Community College down here in Eugene. And I, you know, tentatively will be calling myself Professor Paint with Josh if I start teaching classes. Even if it's not for the college, right? But it's inside the college. So just for myself, I'll be like, yeah, I'm Professor Paint with Josh, right? So we got Sherwood, Arizona, Prescott. Let's see, New York checking in. Wisconsin, Wisconsin. There we go. We got Arkansas, Irvine, Southern Cal, Tennessee checking in on the tubes. Pennsylvania, Louisiana, up there on the bookie books. We got Houston, Dallas, of course, right? Got to get the Herbert whistle in there. The whistle, Chris. Oh, Chris. Okay. Now, once we've got our color, our white on the canvas, we're going to test it right here. Just to show you that you can still see down to the black of my glove, right? It's not overly thick on the canvas because that's going to be very bad for you. Now, we're going to take our blue. Remember, this is one of the very last shows that we're going to be doing inside the Eugene studio. I'm hoping, because the U-Haul costs so freaking much, I'm hoping to sell a couple paintings maybe during this show, maybe over the course of today and tomorrow, perhaps sell a painting or two to help assist with the cost of moving. So if you guys, you guys are in control of that. If you go over to my site, I've lowered down the prices of a lot of them. So if you want to check them out, please feel free. It's going to be amazing. And it will just help me as far as moving expenses goes. And I won't have to transport so many paintings, right? So we'll get this guy out here and just start blending it, right? I had a person come into the studio today. It was like, oh, I do acrylics, and I find them kind of hard to do. And I'm like, yes, they are hard, especially when you're trying to blend something. You want to blend something, you need to use the oils like old Paint with Josh. So when we come back to Eugene and teach classes, they're going to be coming back to do those. Very cool, guys. I like it. I like this light spot down here, but we're also going to get a little touch of white. We're going to come up here. We're going to drag it straight through. Straight as you can make it, right? Doesn't need to be, even coming from the same places or the same trees. Bang. Come through a different area of the tree, right? It's all up to us and how much it stays out there. How much do we want it to show, right? Because if we don't want it to show, we'll just blend it away and it'll be gone forever, right? Very cool. I'm not even going to put any black up in that sky. I like it just the way it is. Now, we're going to get down here and we're going to start to put in some undercolor, but we can't put in undercolor with a brush that has liquid white residue on it or from blending out all your bright sky. You got to have a nice clean brush for that. So look at this guy. Oh, God. I was about to compliment myself in being able to bend over easily because since I moved the apartment up to Sela into our new house, right, I've had such terrible back pain. I haven't been able to bend over. I feel like I'm made of stone. You know what I mean? Literally made of rock. Paint with Josh. Rock hard. I'm serious. My back, it feels like it is fused together, or it has felt that way over the last couple days, and it's finally starting to loosen up. Look at me. Look at this guy. I could just woo! Which, had I tried to do that, would have dragged me right to the floor. Okay. In this scene, we normally do a little bit of green water, but let's do a little bluish green this time. We're going to take a little blue, just a little blue. Okay, we have to leave space enough for our grass up top. So let's drop down. We'll put that blue, just a straight line across. Bang. Just like that. A little bit of blue. Let's grab a little touch of our sap green, too. We don't need to have too much. I don't want it to be super vibrantly green. I want you to struggle to see the green. All right? We don't need to see it as brightly as possible. And remember, with all of my supremely bright lights, you guys can see it more than you should be able to see it at home. You want it to be dark. Okay, now let's just say we'll grab a little bit of that blue because we've never done this before. We've never done the blue and the green in the water like this before. It's looking fabulous though. I'm going to start over here, right? Drag over to the side, down. Just a little guy. A little old waterfall, right? Maybe he's got a little river, something running off the side, and then we'll fill all that rest of that empty space with bushes and darkness and crazy stuff. It's going to be fantastic. Now, if I were to just grab my straight green and try to make my grass over the top of all this green, would you believe that you could see it? Because I don't believe you would be able to see it, right? Let's see. You're like the BobRoss's first cousin twice removed or something? Absolutely, in fact. I mean, I'm actually Bob's third cousin because he was my grandfather's cousin. And so if, I guess the way it flows, I'm Bob's third cousin somehow. I don't know how it all works, but that's what I've been told anyway. All right, we're going to get the yellow and the green because just green is not going to stand out well enough to be over this green, right? So we'll come in here very vertically and just tap in, push against the canvas, boom, boom, boom. Leave a dark bit of untouched area below the grass, okay? So as we tap down again, if we tap down too many times, it's going to be very bright in a certain spot. I tend to like to leave a couple little bits of darkness, and we're not talking about big giant openings like this back here on the side, right? That's too much. But if I come across that guy a couple times, and just like I showed you with my glove, right, you can see down to the black. It's the same. I want to be able to somewhat see down to the black of that grassy bit down there, right? And that's pretty much it, literally. What else do you got to do back there? You don't need too much. And if you wanted, I mean, you could even drag the whole thing in over here, just tapping in little lines, little line, little line. Feed your grass around the front. Do whatever you want. You want to drop something off right there? That looks really cool, actually. We just turn the brush, drop it, drop it, drop it. Bing, bang, boom. Got a whole little, it looks like a little hand reaching out to grab our souls and pull it back towards this waterfall, right? We get to choose. Now remember, all these paintings are available. I have gone through and taken a bunch of them and lowered them down just in hopes that somebody would grab one so I don't have to move it all the way across 2 states. Right, there we go. Ooh, I like this little guy. So we're just trapping it in, and the more that I come out this way, the more it's going to seal in that waterfall and turn it down. It's not something that we've done before, but just to show you, you can do whatever you want. Trail them over in an arcing motion, right? So it looks like they're falling down like that. That's just a little bit of that green and yellow, just with the corner of the brush. I'm serious, right? Little touch, and we're talking like 10 bristles. Tap, 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 tap. If you have too many, you're going to cover it up too much like our grass is back there, and then what happens? They don't stand out, right? That's really cool looking. Okay, let's light up our water real quick before we lose the whole thing. Josh, what are we doing over here, right? So you guys, one more time, check in. Let me know where you're watching from out there in the night. We're going to, what was that face? Oh, never mind. I'm not even going to give you the chance to screenshot that. Back over here, okay? We're going to grab a little touch of our white. You guys are going to check in. Let me know where you're watching from. How do I learn where the light and dark area is based on the sunlight direction? Well, that's a pretty easy question to answer, right? If you feel like your light should be coming from one way to the other, you're going to highlight half the brighter color, half the darker color. We'll get to that part when we get there, right? So let's see. We got, watching from Malaysia. We got New York out there. Where's the rest of you check-inders? New Zealand checking in, right? Is that Belkey? Is that I'm reading it as Belquis, but I know it's probably not Belquis, Miami. It's probably pronounced Belkey. Am I correct? Let's see. We got Alabama, Baltimore, Australia, Finland, Oxfordshire, UK. Texas, UK again. Did you guys know that America is playing the UK in the World Cup on Independence Day, right? That is going to be an epic game. Oklahoma, we've got Sydney, Australia, Ohio, Oregon. I'm in Oregon, right here in Eugene. We're moving up to Selah, Washington, right next to Yakima. Got Bay Area, Northern California, Washington. You got people watching from Tonga, Honduras, Mississippi. You got people from all over. Montana, Australia. Bob checking in from Tennessee, Florida, Georgia over there on the tubes. We've got people watching from all over the world, you guys. Legit. Okay, now, what we're going to do first, instead of using that fan brush, okay, I want to grab a little bit of my liquid white, little touch. And we're talking like, seriously, smallest little piece. A little bit of my titanium white, a lot more titanium white than liquid white anyway, okay? Scrape up my little roll. We're going to come out here and start to leave and just deposit, push a little bit, okay? We just want to have a little bit of white back there because we've got all this green underneath. So if we take our brush, push down hard, we're going to activate all of that green color. Remember, we don't want it to be bright. So as we pull it down and then swipe it over, you get that same sort of effect from the waterfalls that we do to have that sort of still or very, very, very slow moving water back there, right? Then I can decide how many little bits, how many little things. And look at how flat they are. We didn't go bigger than my one finger, right? All the way from almost one side to the other of the river. We didn't get any bigger than one finger. They're very flat lines, okay? Now we'll take that fan brush. We're going to overload it with white paint so that it acts like a palette tool when we go across and go down, right? So over here, I'm going to grab on. I'm going to go over, down, right? Turn the brush because all that green got picked up from all that undercolor, and it's now, if I go over it again, it's not going to be as bright. So I'm going to flip the brush over, go over again, down, right? How do you want your water to fall? How bright do you want it to be? Always wipe it off in between reloading it with white, right? Go over, down, okay? Take the back area. This is when you can pull it literally horizontally, just like getting a little bit taller like a window washer. And that's that area where it starts getting all tumultuous and crazy, and then it falls over, right? We don't need it to be so bright everywhere. That's the whole thing. Everybody messes up by making it too stinking bright everywhere. You don't need all that. You need none of it, in fact. Now, what we're going to do is mix up our 3 favorite colors that we always use. A little bit of black, a little crimson, a little bit of blue, about equal parts on this guy, right? We normally do a little less black than the other 2 colors, but on this one, it doesn't really matter. We don't have a lot of layers in this scene, so we can use that nice deep darkness. Okay. What I want to do, in fact, what we should do, let's go back to that green. This is painting with ADHD over here. We're going to go back to that green and yellow. And let's come down from a taller thing, right? We need to, or at least your bushes need to pop up and break this horizon, right? If we were just to come down like this and see too much of the river in between, it doesn't make any sense. But the taller this thing gets and the more of a severe angle it gets, the more it looks like the river might wrap around it and keep going, right? So tap in a little bit, a little bit. I just want to have a little bit of grass on this guy right there. A whole new little layer. See how it's almost cut through even with just the grass. And that ensures that when I put a bush on there, that's the size of my little finger guy right here, right? If I put a bush that big, it's going to cover over the back bit of grass back there, which is going to add distance, right? All about adding the distance. Now remember, if this side is in the light, you would imagine it to be a little bit brighter than all the rest of that grass. So how do you do that, Josh? I'll just get a little bit more of the yellow ochre on the brush, tap it in, see that? Instantly making it a brighter color. And just to show you, we don't put a lot on there. You don't need a lot. Serious, what are you trying to fill up? What are you trying to do? Cover it all? Because we don't need that kind of stuff around here, right? Same thing. There's a big old glob of yellow on the end of that brush right there, which would probably be too much in any other place besides this if I came over and tapped it down. Little thing. See how the brush, you're bending like 3 to 20 bristles on the end. That's it. I'm not pushing the whole thing flat against the canvas, right? We're angling it away. We're only using I'm going to see how angled I could get it. You see that? You're just tapping and you're just using a couple bristles to leave a little mark. And then you're leaving another little mark and another little mark and another little mark, right? Little things, guys. And you can do as many as you want, as few as you want. Now we're going to go back to our bushy brush. Ooh, the Paint with Josh bush brush. Paint with Josh brushes should be out next month in July or possibly August. I'm waiting on the manufacturer. Everything is in their hands. Don't blame me. Now we're going to come over here with the bush brush. Always point it away from you, right? It doesn't have to be flat away from you like this, like, but just angled it so that you can just hit the top, right? Let's see how flat I can make this. There, where do I need to be so you guys can see it the best, right? Right there. So we're just hitting the top corner of the brush. So if you're looking at it this way, it's just the top corner. Everything else is angled. It's pointed. The handle is kind of pointed away, not flat away, not like I'm pointing at you, right? Just kind of angled away. So we're just hitting the top. Then we'll get all that bushy nastiness, right? And then we can decide, do you want to have anything back here where you're popping up a couple little things? And remember, we're hitting it at an angle because we loaded it at an angle and we don't want too many I mean, look at how much paint is on that brush. It's literally at the top, right there, at the top, little arc, all you need, okay? You can even use the BobRoss oval brush, seriously, right? Tap it in, tap it in, tap it in. Little things, right? They're very black. Josh, why are they so black? Like, bushes aren't black in nature. But no, the shadows are, though. You know what I mean? So what we're going to do is as we put on these dark little bushies, and we come up here and we tap out a little bit of color, especially since our light is coming from this way. If we tap into the darkness and then tap it into the grass, look what happens. You create a little shadow. You're creating these things all on your own every time that you want to do it. It's going to be a little bit different. That's the fun part about painting. See how we got that shadow underneath? And then you get the little bit of bright grass. Holy shaving cream, you guys. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, let's get over here. What we're going to do is take the same bushy brush, okay? The top part had black on it. So now I'm going to flip it to where the top part now has the liquid white. And then we're going to go into, why am I only holding, why are these two fingers not holding my, there we go. That feels better, right? Thank you guys for all the gifts and stuff. I love you so much. Thank you for all the follows and everything. I know I don't really look at the camera a lot because I'm trying to give you a cool show. And the more that I go like this, and the less we're kind of showing you how to paint, right? But I do appreciate every single comment. You guys are the reason that the videos grow, is because of all of your comments. So please, when you see a comment or a video after this, comment on it. Hit that share button. It helps me out so much more than you know. And we're going to take that white part again. We're going to angle the brush kind of away from us. So we're smacking the corner or the top bit of the brush into the green, also into the yellow, kind of go back and forth, and boom, 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 put it in the middle. Make your own color, right? So now look at that brush. That's how close we can get. First, it's all mangled and stuff from the paint that's holding it, right? So there's a ton of paint, but look at the green and yellow in there together, right? So if we get the green and yellow together, and then we don't over smush it, okay? That's the thing. You come out here and start smushing, and then you start smushing too much, and then everything starts looking exactly alike. Now look at the depth that you can see in there because of what we can see, right? If we put on too many highlights, or we put on too much of the color and we get rid of all that dark stuff in here, it makes it harder to see, right? You want to be able to look at your bush and be able to reach inside to one of those darker areas. And that's not necessarily just along the bottom. There's dark patches everywhere throughout this thing. Some are the size of a pea, some are the size of a micron, right? They're little tiny little doers down in there. But you gotta have those bits of space, right? Even in sand, right? In white sandy beach, there are black speckles of sand, just so that it's not all white. Because if it's all white, or if it's all too bright, you will not be able to see it. You're gonna look and you're gonna go, oh, I hate it, but I don't know why. I can't figure out why I don't like it. Well, I'll tell you right now, it's because you've covered up too much of your dark, shadowy bit. Remember, you have to be able to reach inside all those little twigs, twisting your arm and grabbing onto that ball, pulling it back out. I don't know about you guys, but my dog, if I throw a ball into a bush, she's looking at me to get that ball back out. She's like, hello, do you see where the ball is? Do you notice that I can't access it and get your human butt over here and get this ball? And I'm not just going to run over to the bush and just blindly shut my eyes and shove my arm into the bush, right? I'm going to look for all those little pockets and little bits where I've got to reach around and grab, pull it out without getting too scratched up. So remember, leave the dark spaces, leave the stuff. I'm telling you, right? Don't make everything all exactly alike. That's the thing that you're going to not like, right? When everything is all the same angle, you don't have any differences. If it's all the same color, if you've covered up too much, if it's too flat, if it's too straight, if it's too anything. There's so many things that are going to make you not like it, right? So you have to do, and I've been telling this to a lot of people recently. You know that saying, quality over quantity, right? Like you want to pick something good versus picking a bunch of bad stuff. Well, it goes opposite in painting, for me anyway, right? Because you have to have enough quantity of practice. You have to practice enough to produce quality paintings, right? So think about it like that. If you're on number 1 or number 10 or number 100, okay? I'm on almost 2,500 paintings and I still mess up, all right? So remember, this is not your one chance, right? You're always gonna have another canvas, which is one of my mottos. You always have another canvas. There's always one out there you can go grab and try it again, right? Don't stress out. Let's have fun. Give me a follow. Love you guys. Okay. Now, I'm thinking, just to make it different than the other paintings that we have that are similar to this background, let's drop a big old fat one of these trees. Or we can do a big old fat one of those trees, right? I'm thinking this tree right here. It's going to help make it look like we got a lot of distance. We'll put a couple more bushes in here covering up as we drop down that tree anyway. We'll cover up our... Notice I've got a big old fingerprint right in my sky from touching that guy earlier, just to show you guys how lightly the paint is on there. There we go. We're all set. So remember, you guys can grab this painting. It is number 2491. It means we've done 2,490 other paintings, some of which are still available over on my site. You just got to head over and grab them. Now, I'm going to go back to the dark color that we had, okay? And we're going to scrape this guy up. over here. So even after flattening it down, you can see there's a good amount of paint still there, right? So if I wanted to do anything, right, I can use that pan. I don't have to go back and make another guy. So now let's switch back to the dark side of the brush, right? Not the top that has all the light on it. We want to go to the bottom that has all the dark on it. And I'm going to use that as the top. So I'm going to push it away, right? So all of my color is pointing me right in the face right here. If I'm hitting it like this, then I cannot load all the bristles. Can you see that? The bristles are, it's almost like a break dancer in the middle of a move, where they like pause, you know what I mean? They pause like that, and then they go back down. You don't want all the color, okay? Now maybe out here, we're gonna start to cover up some of where that river shows through. And again, we're gonna have a big old tree that's popping down in the bottom of this guy. But just to show you, you can cover some of that river so you cannot see everything, right? We could also pop one of those guys over here if I've got enough dark paint on there, right? Now that totally seals the river in. So now the river's all tucked behind there. It's kind of flowing around, falling, dropping down over here, which we almost forgot to do. Give it a couple little splashers just by pushing up on the canvas, right? So we're not holding it like this and pushing downward, okay? We're touching the canvas. You can almost start at a 45-degree angle. Touch the canvas and then push the bristles up, right? Look how far I can bend those bristles upwards, right? By taking my brush down. That's what you want. You push the bristles up, okay? Now, in a waterfall like this is something that I've learned. This is something that I had to fail at a lot of times in order to realize that a waterfall this size does not create a giant splash. It doesn't even create this much splash. We're putting this water here to take, just like this, very vertically. I'm going to cut half of it out. Boop, pop it down like that. Pop it down, right? Pop it down. Very straight down. Bing, bang, boom. Now, it depends on how much I leave here. If I go side to side, you can instantly see the water start lighting up, right? Side to side. And then you're deciding how much of a plunge, right? It's very, because I've even been to Multnomah Falls, which I consider a much bigger waterfall than this, and its lower falls looks like water going into a bathtub, right? There's not a lot of splashy spray because the wind can't get to it and whip it into splash, right? There's some science behind them waterfalls out there. Here we go. In my little guy, and remember, we're going to put a big old tree in here, but anyway, but if we've got our light coming from here, we might see bright grass on the front and then a slight bit of darker grass. Now let's say your grass got too dark, get back in there with that green over that darkness, and then you can kind of create the grass color while leaving your bright areas where you want them to be. Right? Now let's get a whole big pile mixed up of this Paint with Josh plaque mix that we love using, our black, crimson, and blue. We call it the plaque mix, not like plaque, that's a different kind of plaque, right? This is P-L-A-C-K because it makes a very purplish black color. Looks black to the eye, but it's just a very, very, very dark purple. It's one of the darkest colors we can make. Mix it up. So, the deepest, darkest color of your dreams can be found inside every Paint with Josh shadow. Now, we're going to grab the Paint with Josh fan brush. Okay, these fan brushes are very much like acrylic fan brushes. So if you are waiting to get Paint with Josh fan brushes, go get an acrylic brush. Just make sure that it's thick in the bristles where it connects on here. If it's very skinny and very thin, the bristles will not have enough power, right? Enough bending power, picking power to be able to pick up all this paint. So what we're going to do is touch into that fat, heavy part, pull it down, wiggling it, flip the brush over, wiggle it, flip it over again, wiggle it. Make it nice and flat, loading on multiple layers, about as thick as you can get it onto the brush. Now that doesn't mean that you're climbing all the way up to the top of the ferrule up here. The paint does not have to go all the way down to the handle, okay? That's something that a kid does. Thank you for the stars. I appreciate ya. All you guys, right? Now, we'll come out here with our very sharp brush. And I'm talking about, if I can show you the sharpness. Look at that. It's like a liner brush. Look at it. It's like a palette tool, how sharp the Paint with Josh fan brushes are, right? Let's get up here, launch in. I mean, you can even go, you could go huge, you could go smaller, right? But a smaller one, gonna look a little funky. What we're gonna try to do is almost lose that center guy. What if we popped it? I don't want them to be all the same height. So what if we go a little bit higher up? And you can see that most of that brush down there is not touching the canvas. You see how it's split, right? And the harder that we push in, the fatter it will get, okay? So as we get down here, you don't need to make it that fat down there. That was just to show you guys, right? Where it's all gonna be covered anyway, either which way. So we're gonna take our brush, instead of holding it flat, we're holding it like a pencil. That's how you would write with a pencil, right? Holding it like a pencil, and all we're going to do is extend our middle finger and index finger until the brush hits the canvas. Same angle, same side, same everything until you run out of paint, okay? So we'll get out here. It's not flat like a table. It's tilted a little bit so our fruits would roll off the table, but it's not a supreme, we're not flat, it's not 45, it's just very slightly tilted towards the canvas. And then you come up here and you touch. Same corner, same corner, same corner. You can see I haven't even moved. All we're doing is just kind of popping into the canvas, okay? Each one of these little guys, the harder that we push in, is going to climb further up the bristles of the brush, right? Now, eventually, all the paint disappears from our one side, and if you're using a Paint with Josh brush, the paint will start to split. The brush will start to split anyway, because there's not so much paint holding it on. That doesn't mean I can't still use the thing. It's got a bunch of paint on that side. So, if I turn it over this way, I can click out a whole nother little bit, a little smiley face. I can pop in some stuff in between, and I can fill in this guy randomly. So I'm not trying to make it all the same. I don't want each one of these to keep growing out and out and out like a pyramid, right? You can get back in here, load that brush up, not all the way up to the bristle, up to the ferrule, just enough on the sides, right? Imagine like you're trying to, imagine if you dip this brush into pancake mix, like when you pulled it out. It would be thick on each side of the brush, right? Because the mix itself is very thick. So imagine we've got pancake mix that we're trying to get onto our brush, okay? So as we're pulling down and pulling down, and we can even drop down, and this guy does not necessarily need to be bigger because it's down here lower, right? That's about the same, in fact. What if I made it a little bigger? If I came over that side, okay? Now, how are we going to fill this in between? Because what I like to do is a big one, and then a smaller one, and then a bigger one, and then a smaller one, and then a bigger one. And we're mainly only worrying about covering up where the trunk of the tree is and its surrounding area. Doesn't have to go all the way out to the side. Don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Doesn't have to get as big or whatever. And it does not have to be symmetrical. Okay, there are so many trees out there that look like a beginner painted them. Like you can go out into any forest, into any national park, into any wild area, and you will see the most ridiculous looking trees. Like trees that look like they shouldn't even exist. Like they look like a 4-year-old painted them, right? With markers. Like they dipped marker into paint and then painted it with the marker. Like there are some horrific looking trees out there, okay? So never, ever, ever be self-conscious about your tree, right? Because even if it looks like a quote-unquote beginner tree, they exist out there. I'm telling you, I was out at Mount Rainier. I was out at Mount Hood. I've been out in the forests of Oregon and in Washington together, okay? There are the most ugliest trees you will ever see out there. So don't worry about yours. Every time that it comes out, it's going to come out differently, okay? Every single time. So do not worry about the shape, the thickness, the symmetry of it, how big your branches are, how far they extend out, whatever, right? It's totally up to you every time that you go to do a little painting, right? Woo, that's a cool looking tree right there. And also remember, the top of the tree does not have to be sharp. I saw a tree out there. We went up to Mount Rainier, saw Tipsue Lake, and went over to Reflection Lake and stuff. There are trees that have 3 things, 3 points going in. One's kind of going back towards this way, one's going out toward, and one's coming over here. Like the tree couldn't decide which way it wanted to grow, so it just grew 3 tops. You know what I mean? They're out there, you guys. I've seen them with a big blob. Like literally, if we were to cut the tree off right here at the top and just have that big blob at the very top, I've seen it out there. You can paint them however the frick you want, honestly. Honestly. Dude, should we do another one over here? Just something in the front, like maybe like a, no, I like it. I like it. I like its openness. A lot of people will like its openness too. Okay, let's get over here. We're going to get a little bit more of that dark color on the dark side of the brush. We're going to dabble over the waterfall and dip down. Right? You have to kind of extend out into that waterfall a little bit to leave those little hang-me-doers down there, right? The little doers that like to hang over the edge and pick up all of the water. Right? This is also why the water does this, because it's kind of cutting its way through this little bushy, rocky area. Now remember, you don't have to put them everywhere. Seriously, it is totally up to you how you want your paintings to look, right? No one else is out there telling you how it should be, what it should look like, and if they are, you better send them over to old Uncle Paint with Josh, and I'll set them straight for ya. right? Art is so subjective. It's so whatever you want it to be, right? I will paint something sometimes, and people will look at it and they'll go, oh, I love that face that you painted in the thing. And I'd be like, yeah, right? You see it too? Knowing that I didn't paint a face, right? Like, or I didn't do it purposely anyway. But people will find different things in your paintings. Everyone likes something different. That's why there are so many painters, right? If there was only going to be one, it might as well be me, and that would be boring, right? Thank you. The guy that said, nice work, my guy. Appreciate you. What's your name over there? Christy. I'm so sorry. The girl that said, nice work, my guy. I appreciate you so much. I looked over. I didn't even see the screen name. I'm so sorry, honestly. Isn't painting the best, though, right? Thanks, Uncle Paint with Josh. I like it. Let's see. Put some Christmas tree lights on. That'd be cool. That would be cool. Let's see. Sent me a message, Sonia. Thank you. I appreciate it. I might not see it. I get so many messages. It's almost easier to find me in the comments. Like if you comment on something, I have a better chance of seeing it that way than if I were to go try to dig through messages, honestly. I get so many that it just becomes a daunting task to even look at them. You know what I mean? And we're talking probably over 3,000 and just in my Facebook Messenger thing waiting to be looked at. Okay, now we're going to get a little bit more liquid white. I'm being very lazy and not wanting to wash the bottom side of my brush, but also proving that you can even do it with a dirty brush. Okay, Danny came down here and did a dirty brush painting and it came out amazing. Now we're going to go into the India yellow first. This is a Gamblin 1980 color. It's a very bright yellowy orange color. And we're going to say that if all that light's coming down, we might get a... Woo! Look at those little bits. Holy shaving cream. Now, why does it look so much more depthy than these little grass hang-me-down doers over here? Right? What about it makes it look like it pops more? Not just the color, right? What about it? I'm asking you guys a question. Came on here and no one had time to read it. The lighting? No, not in my eyes anyway. Right? Not in my eyes. It's not about the light parts. It's not about the bright, because if it was too bright, we wouldn't be able to see it, right? It's about, this one has that dark under base. This one just had the canvas underneath, right? So there are not as many deep, dark areas in those grassy things, just like grass is not a deep thing, right? This bush looks deeper because there is a darker shadow underneath it. It looks like you can reach in and pull something out because of the darkness. The detail is in the dark. Always remember that. Because if we put on too many bright areas or too many bright things, then we can't see it. It becomes flat. You ever heard that term? Like, oh, that looks flat. Yeah, because there's no depth. There's no dark, right? Depth and dark start with a D for a reason. Because they go together, right? A little bit of that purple color. God, everybody loves a good old purple bush. Drop it down there, that dioxazine purple. And whenever you do purple, we're always going to go back in, and we're going to have to wash the brush after this guy. We're always going to go back in with a little bit of white and add, ooh, look at that. Like just I mean, come on. It speaks for itself, honestly. You can't just do the purple. Even if it was a lilac or a bright purple color, right? You still can't just do purple. At least for me. I've always got to throw a couple little bits of white on there. Oh, I've been standing up for too long now. Isn't that the worst? Like, when you have back, I hope you don't experience back pain, honestly. If anyone's ever dealt with like sciatic pain or and that sucker runs from your foot to your shoulder, you know what I mean? So you could have pain anywhere throughout your back from a sciatic nerve. And mine is just awful. It's just not my friend. And I very much irritated it when I was moving the apartment up to Washington into our new house and stuff. And I really irritated my nerve, and that has caused me not to be able to stand or bend or reach and pick stuff up. Literally, even coughing hurts. Like, that's how much it was hurting. Okay, now we've got one more little section over here. He's going to kind of be in the shadow. We don't want it to be green. There's too much green around here, right? So we've got a couple choices. Actually, we have no choices. I have zero paint out on my palette. So what I want to do, though, is grab the blue. We're going to grab that blue, and we'll throw in a little bluey bush back there. And that bluey bush is going to have what kind of a highlight on it, right? What do you think? We just did the purple, and then we had to put a little bit of blank on the top of it. So if we do the blue, you would imagine we would have to add a little bit of what onto the top of it. Guys, let me know in the comments below. Get all that, there we go, that chunky blue. Come down here, pop, 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 pop. Now see, it's very bright on the can or on the palette up here, but as soon as you start mixing it over, all that darkness, it starts to get very dark. That's why we go back with white. Thank you so much, all you guys, for answering my questions, honestly. Remember, if anybody wants to grab this painting, you get a free gift off the Spinny Winnie Wheel if you get it during the live show. A couple little bits of white. Right there. Fabulous. I mean, there are literally white flowers in almost every plant on Earth. Honestly, like I walk around my apartment, I've looked at trees, we see all sorts of stuff with white flowers on it. So never worry about throwing some little bits of white on there. That looks absolutely stellarly fantastic. Now we're going to come back with the Paint with Josh. Actually, I need to get a little bit of my liquid white out as well, but we're going to use the Paint with Josh small fan brush, the size number 4. Right? Get our little number 4 out there, and my word, I'm really hoping, guys, I've got a lot of paintings available and ready to send out. Moving is a fair amount of expense, right? So if you guys could help me out and just go check out my website. If you like a painting, grab it. That would be absolutely stellar, right? I'll get it sent out to you before I leave. And if not, we'll get it sent out to you as soon as I get to Washington. Come over here, grab a little bit of the yellow and the green with the liquid white, right? And remember, we're only going to be highlighting the right side, the left side of our tree with our bright spots. So as we go, we're kind of laying them out like Christmas lights. Tap, tap, tap. Little line like that, right? And we'll come over here and we'll tap, tap, tap. Another little thing. Another little thing. We don't want to push so hard on the brush, right? So if you're finding yourself pushing harder, that is because you don't have enough of the liquid white mixture into your paint, right? The more the liquid white mixes into that paint, the easier it wants to drop off. So again, we just tap in a little line of Christmas lights, little line of Christmas lights, here, there, wherever. Tap them in. Let them get darker as they go back to the back of the tree. They have to. You can't just have bright stuff. So after you've dropped off all your bright bits along the front, you use the same brush, right? You're smushing it in, but these ones will be darker because every time that we're touching the canvas, look what it's doing to the brush. That brush was bright green. Now you see all that black, right? Because each time we drop off the green, we're picking up the dark shadow base. So you have to touch it very lightly. You do not want to go in there with full pressure, right? And put the hammer down like you're going to do if you're mad at your kids or whatever, right? You don't want to go in like that. You want to go in very gently, like maybe you messed up and you're like, you know, the one walking on eggshells or whatever, and going, okay, I don't want to touch too much. I don't want to, like my nerve back, I don't want to activate that guy too much by walking too heavily or being too confident or whatever, right? Like, same thing with these trees. You do not want to cover up too much of the dark space, because if we do, it again becomes what? I've already said it a million times in this live show. If you cover up all the dark, it becomes, guys, it becomes, finish my sentence. If we cover up all the darkness, right? And we just fill it with tons of highlights, and there's just highlights everywhere. Exactly, Stephanie. What's your name? Stephanie Ogerst. Am I saying that correctly? Flat. Specialized cleaner. Flat. Exactly. I can't even read your screen name because of how it's written, but exactly correct. Cozy says flat. Over here, we got Stooge 54 says flat, and ugly says Patrick. Again, very true. If you overfill it and you put on too many highlights, it will no longer look like a tree. Okay. So you guys start coming up with a title for this painting. I am going to pop in one little bit of a tree trunk in here just by taking a bit of my burnt sienna, right? Small amount. Oh, get the skin to come off. There we go. Small amount, and that's way too much, by the way. Small amount of burnt sienna, small amount of my titanium white, just so we can get like a woodsy color. And if I need to add a little bit of darker brown in there just to kind of tone it down a bit, right? Just going for a brown. That's all. Mix it up though. Don't use just a brown straight out the tube. That's lazy. Don't do that, right? We'll come over here and touch on and then pull away. Touch on, pull away. You just want to have a bit of that texturous trunk inside. There we go. The center of our tree in a couple places. Obviously, you can see it's getting bigger or wider as it goes down, because our trunk would be wider on the inside, right? So you guys come up with a title. Remember, if you purchase it, you get to pick the title out of all of the suggestions, or come up with your own, right? And you get a free gift off the Spinny Winnie Wheel. And if someone gets this painting, I will come back and do a second show, even on Father's Day, when I planned on going to, no, you know what, I can't. Because I don't want to say that, because I don't know if my kid wants to go eat or not. And if she does, I'm going to take that opportunity and go eat with my daughter on Father's Day. Ooh, the fairy trap. Fairy trap. I like that. That's a cool one, dude. I'm telling you, right? Because you don't want to go messing up a fairy's dwelling, right? I don't know if they call it a house or whatever. I caught a picture of a fairy. I'm not even joking. I was up at Multnomah Falls. I was just walking. I was the only one there. I was there before it opened, right? So literally, thank you for the Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, by the way, to all of my fathers out there. All you guys rock. You're doing your best. I agree. It's not the easiest thing to do, but we're getting it done, right? So don't quit. Don't quit. Can't quit. All right, but I was up at Multnomah Falls, and I'm walking. Literally, I thought there was an apocalypse, and I was the only one that survived. That's how many people were there. Zero. Like literally 0 people, right? So I'm walking through, and I'm just taking pictures of trees. I'm just looking up and trying to get like the perspective of painting it to where it looks like it's going straight up, you know what I mean? Taking all these pictures and blah, blah, blah. I don't see a single thing. And I go back, and I'm looking through all my reference photos, and I zoom in real far, and there is a man with a top hat. They look like a man in black. Like, picture Man in Black standing in the tree with like little things like growing out of his head. It was so trippy. It would take me too long to scroll and find the photo, but if I zoomed in and showed you guys, it's the craziest little man. I'm telling you, Roxy, I'm telling you. All right, we'll see. If somebody buys this painting, I'll show you guys that picture of the fairy man. I will take the time to find it. If not, then, you know, you're just gonna have to believe me, Roxy. Serenity Falls is good. That feeling, right? Like pick or it didn't happen. I have the pick. I just got to scroll and find it, right? Let's see. That's Slender Man. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, it looked very sick. Can we see the pick? Oh, I don't know, guys. I'm gonna have to really scroll. And then there's like 18 different pictures that look very similar. So let me finish cleaning up these brushes. And if somebody grabs the painting, I'll definitely show you. If somebody doesn't grab the painting, then I might show it, just me, because it's a really cool picture. And I mean, you've got to, it's legit real, because you can't see it, right? And you've got to zoom in and be going along the right branch to be able to see this guy that I actually caught in the picture. And you know what I mean? He was invisible to me in real life. That's funny, you didn't notice him. Let's see. So you guys keep titling up the title, hitting me with the titles, right? Whatever you think, let me know, okay? We've got this show tonight, and then I'm probably going to go try to eat with Bailey because it's Father's Day. I want to go out to eat and stuff. And if you wanted to buy it, Brian, I'll tell you right now, so the mods don't have to answer. You just go to my website, Paint with Josh. And then you put the little that you put at the end of every website. If we say that thing, the Paint with Josh blank blank at the end, then TikTok gets mad, right? Until it thinks we're trying to send people somewhere else. But head over to my website. My name's Paint with Josh. Paint with Josh, go over there. It's going to be the very first thing that you see when you get there. You will not see this because we haven't stopped the show and taken a picture and done all that. What you will see is a gold ornate frame with 2 of me standing in there. It's like live social media show, number 2491. That's this painting on the easel. If you get the one during the show, you get a free gift with it, and you get to name it. So while you guys are doing that, and maybe someone's going over to grab this painting, I'm going to finish washing off all these brushes. I got one more, and then I'll try to dig for that photo for you guys. And I'll try to show you the fairy man that I caught, the fairy man in black. I swear, I'm almost excited to go digging through the camera roll and try to find it. And you know, I know it was one of the times I went out to go see Danny, and I stopped off at the falls because I'd left at Eugene at like 6 in the morning. I had left, and by the time I was getting to Multnomah Falls, which was only about 2 hours away, there was nobody there. I was like, what's going on? Like, I'm clearly here too early, but I didn't realize there would be absolutely 0 people. I didn't see a single soul. Like I said, I thought there was like an apocalypse because no one was there, and I have never not been there, and it just been instantly filled with people. Hey, Tanisha, what's happening? Distant trees and a stream. Fairy trap, that's a cool one. Okay. I'm going to try to scroll back and find this thing in my 14,000 photos and try to remember which trip. Found it. Didn't take that long, actually. Now I mean, look at these. Which one of these is it in? You know what I mean? That's how I'm going to find the one. All these pictures, like just pictures of trees. Josh just goes and takes pictures of trees. Oh, I found him. Look, you can even see, like, if once you know it's there, you can see him even from the thing. Okay, I'm going to try to zoom in. We're going to get close to the camera. Okay, he's sitting right here in the middle of this thing. So let's try to make sure it's in focus. Look at that, though. Can you guys see the little man? Right, I'm trying to go real far in, real slow. Can you see him with his little top hat? Like, literally walking through this tree. This little person, right? Am I the only one that sees that? Or can you guys see that too? Because like it was like I took the picture and he was like, don't move, don't move, don't move. He might not see us. So it was crazy though. But when you look at the picture, just like full zoomed out image, hang on. Right? Now I know where he is. He's up in this little thing and you can almost see him just with the naked eye without even zooming in, right? But there's that crazy little dude that I caught out there. Yeah, he was the only other life form out there with me at the time, I guess. Very cool though. Okay, so it looks like this painting still belongs to me. Nobody wanted to grab it. That's okay. That's all right. I've got the last of the paintings getting shipped out very soon, and I've got to get everything else boxed up and get a truck again with a U-Haul truck, and then drive it 5 hours again. Oh, it's gonna be good. Fatherly Falls. That's a great one, TMH. It is Father's Day. I mean, that would only make sense to call it Fatherly Falls. So I think we'll go with that. That's a cool title. That is a cool title. I hope everyone enjoyed this show, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Father's Day. Honestly, I'm gonna go try and see if I can pull my daughter away from her little dumb boyfriend for just enough time to go out to eat with her old dad, and then go back and do whatever you're gonna, whatever you're doing. I don't want to know about it. Just come hang out with me for just a little bit. That's all I want. Like, what do dads want to? What do dads want on Father's Day? Number one, either be left alone or be surrounded by family. One of the two. Depends on how your week's going, I guess, right? Like, I was talking to Danny about Father's Day earlier, and how some years, if you're sad or if you're missing your kids, right, Father's Day hits real hard because, and especially if they forget, right, they don't even say anything, right, that hits really hard. But when everything's gravy and life's going good, Father's Day is just another Sunday. Like, leave me alone. I just want to sleep in. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to, because you've got to, as a dad, you got to do everything all the time. So you just want that one day out of the year where you just are not expected to do anything. You know what I mean? Like, leave me alone. Let me sleep. All that. Did I get scared? No, I didn't get scared because I didn't see the little man before, while I was there. You know what I mean? I only saw it in the photos afterwards. I know. Imagine the little boyfriend. No, he's cool. His name's Caden. He's awesome. He actually has a BobRoss afro. It's really cool. I'm almost jealous of it. Almost. Happy dads. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate it. And does the price include the frame? No, it does not include the frame, but this is a very, very, very easily frameable size, and the 16 by 20 has the most frame options. You can get a frame for between $12 and $20, a really nice one. Or if you want to get the big, fat, giant, like open back frames and stuff like that, those can get up to like $30 to $60, I would imagine. But just for a simple little frame, nice little wood piece. And a lot of times we don't sell them with frames because my style, my taste in frames is not your taste in frames. You know what I mean? I learned that very early on. I wanted to send a painting up to my grandparents, and I was like, I'll put it in this really cool frame. And they're like, no, don't, because we have the same frame for every picture in our house. That's the exact same frame, and we want it to match, so don't send a frame. I would list paintings as framed. They wouldn't sell. Who knows if it was a bad painting or they didn't like the frame painting combo because you don't like the same kind of things that I like. That's why we don't sell them framed. We just sell the canvases, and then it's up to you whether or not you want to go get it framed, right? Or we finish them on the edges so you don't have to frame them as well. So in any case, I can't wait to see your guys' version. Let's pick, what was that title, Todd? Was it Fatherly Falls? Was that it? I can't remember. Somebody pinned TMH title. Let's see. Spirit in the Forest. That's cool. I like that. I like that. Let's see. Fatherly Falls. Fatherly. Okay. Get a little bit of our blue up here on the top of the old canvas. Like that. And that way, at least. And the only reason I did them on the, we do them on the top and the sides is because when you display them maybe like up a staircase, when you're coming down the staircase and you see the top of the canvas is just white, ugh, it just doesn't look finished, right? So we at least put the color all the way around. Now, this painting right here is a Paint with Josh original, number 2491, calling it Fatherly Falls. Perfect. Painted on 6/21/2021. We're all going to go check out paintwithjosh.com because beyond TikTok and YouTube and Insta and Facebook, it's one of the top 5 places I go check out every day. Paintwithjosh.com. Head over there. Yes. Oof. I love it. Came out absolutely stellar. I'll go get it into the dry room. We'll get it dry so we can stick it with the other paintings and take it up to Washington. All right. So you guys have been absolutely stellarly fantastic. I love yous all, and yeah, can't wait to see what you can do with this painting, right? Remember, I have several other videos that show you how to do the black gesso, how to do trees, and how to do planets, how to do all that sort of stuff. So you got to do a little bit of digging around the YouTube channel to find all the things that you need to be able to do this painting. You can literally do it with just a blue sky behind and not have these trees, just have your black bottom. Black gesso is going to be your best friend, okay? I didn't know what black gesso was. I didn't know how to use it. And I didn't want to ask anybody and look silly, right? So let me tell you, it is literally your best friend. It is the base coat for all of the black canvases you've ever bought have been covered with this thing. It does really cool things with a half and half canvas, or if you add trees into the back, and it'll make them look more distant without even having to do anything, right? And you just prep all that before you do the oil painting. So let's get the bird signature in there and make it a fish. We're going to do the worldwide caw-caw. And the more of you that do it with me, the more the world would just be a happier place, okay? So when I count down from 3 to 2 to 1 and draw in this first little bird, we're all going to go caw-caw together. And if enough of you around the world do it, I might be able to hear you all the way down here in Eugene. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Caw-caw. Oh, I think I heard a couple of you guys out there. I heard a couple of y'alls. See how you put them in front of a tree and it looks like it's now in front, flying underneath, through the forest. It's everywhere. It's fantastic. Okay. You guys, again, oh, I always do that. I'll go clean the brush and then realize that, Josh, I need to sign it still. I need that brush again, my friend. So we'll toss in the old JK, launch it down into Shaw. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Amazing. Came out fabulous. I love it. I hope you guys love it. I can't wait to see your version, so send it in to the Facebook page or drop it into the comments of the Facebook posts or the TikTok posts, wherever you can put a photo comment. Drop it in, and you have a better chance of me seeing it that way versus sending me a message, which I just get too many of, you know what I mean? And a lot of them are just reactions to my story. That's what it builds up with and just pushes all the good questions down to the bottom of the list. Man, that came out so cool looking, you guys. Okay, so you've been absolutely stellar. Thank you. Happy Father's Day, everybody out there who it applies to. Like I said earlier, you can't give up. Don't get sad, right? Shit's hard. I know too, but we got to keep powering on. So besides that, you guys have been absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see you on the next one. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Best of a good day. And well, that one came out amazing. I want to thank you guys for being here, liking, subscribing, tapping the screen, commenting, and interacting with me. It's all been fantastic. In the meantime, before we get to our next painting, be sure you check out paintwithjosh.com because there's always something else to look at over there. So until I see you guys again next time, take care.